people in Austin, Texas are completely insane. They just don't care. They're out doing whatever they're going to do. We got Karens and Chads running crazy without masks everywhere. I need my haircut. I'll tell you that. It's the point where it's driving me crazy. It's getting kind of long, kind of shaggy. I was actually gonna I had this whole thing in my head for this week, this sketch I was gonna prepare to do, where I was gonna set up my monitor to this disco light site, right? So it had different colored lights flashing in my face, and I was gonna get a fan and put it here so my hair is blowing like this, and I was gonna be just a small town girl living in a lonely world. That's the one good thing that comes with having long, shaggy hair. I can feel like a rock star when I'm doing, stuff at my house by myself. That's what I do. I don't know what to tell you. I'm not going to shave it all off, Nathan, but thank you. My wife has already told me that is forbidden to do again. I've done it before. I'm no coward. I'll shave my head in a second, just not if I get in trouble with my wife. Someday you'll see. Anyway, let's bring in some of our guests this week. Obviously, Nathan is there.
Hola.
I don't know why. Oh, there you are. Okay. What's up, Nathan?
Not much. Just
you're on a weird delay.
Am I on a weird delay?
Look, he talked, and you got a 3-second delay, 4-second delay.
Huh.
I would try logging back out and then log in again. It's not unknown to happen.
Okay.
Yeah. So we'll go to our next guy. Remove you. There you go. Okay. We got Marco. Hello, Marco.
Hello, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yep. No delay with you, sir. Although we do feel I feel like an ant that you're staring at.
Wait, are you sure there's not delay? I'm sorry. I'm calling you from space. So there's a.
How does one simulate a delay? That seems difficult. It's a difficult.
Look, if we can't make things difficult, we can pretend that they're difficult. That adds drama to the cast. I mean, people like that kind of stuff.
That's true. And calling in live from his brothel, the hard drive, Jordan. Her brothel, the hard drive, Jordan.
How you doing?
Hello. I like your lipstick.
Thank you very much.
I like your lipstick. I tell my wife she put some on. She put some on that was hot pink like that, and I was like, I don't know. I'm a little scared. I feel like there's a stirring in me that I feel uncomfortable with because we're married and that's unnatural.
Well, much like Rita Farr, I like to present myself at my best.
So really, I know you wanted to talk about Doom Patrol, but I think we should just switch over to just trashing Tron. That's a lot more fun.
Oh my God, we're not going to switch over to trashing Tron.
I'm sick of fucking hearing about Tron. I am indifferent about Tron, but Jesus fucking Christ, I am sick about fucking Tron.
I was like, what have I stepped into? I think Nathan
would be in the game
over there. I was like, why are we talking about Tron?
I don't even know how that shit got started, but usually it's Nathan who brings up something he loves, and then I have to go you're a crazy person. That's terrible. And then that starts all over.
Y'all. It's so good.
You called it, I think, unassailable or some shit. And I was like, are you kidding me?
I never used that word.
No, you used the term to say, basically, there's no way you could come down on it. Yeah.
I would say
that sounds like me.
I couldn't stand for it. Those who don't know, we have a Slack community that just for people who do the stuff on the site, one of us, and we take the piss out of each other quite a bit. And I enjoy taking the piss out of no one quite so fondly as I do Nathan, who comes in
because you're usually wrong.
Comes in so sure of himself about something, and then I'm like,
Tron is great. Tron is fucking great. People have known it's great until that sequel kind of bombed, right? Didn't it?
I think so. I mean, it certainly did critically, but then again, the original performed terribly too critically. It's only Rotten Tomatoes shows 74%. And if you look, almost all those positive reviews are ones that people did in the last 5 years.
So you did your research on shitting on Tron.
What'd you say?
I said, so you did your research on shitting on Tron.
No, I was just curious.
No, we lived through it. We've been shitting on Tron for almost 40 years.
I should out now. So I
good.
and I wanted to go, I'm not remembering this wrong. I remember for sure it was critically panned when it came out. And so I had to to make sure I wasn't crazy, look it up. And yes, it was critically panned when it came out.
I think it was.
Well, The Shining was critically panned when it came out. So
they say that, but they love to bring up the people who did and not talk about those who said, no, it's a masterpiece. It wasn't like
Blade
a cross
Runner.
panned. Blade Runner was pretty panned when it came out. That
is a good example. And, hey, look at Blade Runner. It's the greatest science fiction film ever.
But Blade Runner also got reconsidered 6 months after its release. Tron, not so much.
Maybe it kind of rode that wave because it came out around that time when suddenly, for the first time, you could actually see these things on TV after the theatrical run, because now everybody had cable, and then you had VHS, and that's where kids just watched that shit over and over and over until suddenly a cult formed around it. But it never really happened with Tron. It's not that people didn't watch it. I remember the hype was all about the video game more than the movie itself.
Yep.
I think everybody thought it looked great, but
I had a friend of mine whose parents had bought him the arcade game and put it in his basement, and he was like, that movie's terrible, but this game is fucking kick ass.
Well, it was a great game.
I remember Disney was so sure they had the next Star Wars. They were so sure about it. Like, oh my God, this is going to be huge. Everyone's going to love Tron. And they're still acting as if, like, you guys just missed it the first time around, but Tron, believe me, it was great. And all of us who lived through it the first time were like, no. It was cool.
Had a lot of potential. There was a potential for rich
man. I was there.
Well, I was.
I can't listen to any more of this.
It's typical. Kids want to deny their history. I see how it is.
Tron 3, bring it to me.
You will be the only one in that line.
I will be the only one, and I'll see it a few times.
No, there's going to be.
You're going to be no, Nathan. You don't understand. You're going to be the only reason it even has box office.
That's not true. That's not true.
That's not true.
I'm sure Mike will come in for it too.
Right. I mean, the last
Mike, you'll go see Tron 3, right?
Showed up.
Oh, sorry.
Fuck y'all.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
I will be there for Clerks 3, but
I was gonna say I figured you like Clerks 2 so much you must also like Tron. I mean,
no, I don't.
I mean, it's a movie about a guy who gets digitized into a computer, experiences anthropomorphized computer concepts, and then saves the world by winning a ultimate frisbee tournament. I mean, it's narrative
no problem with any of that. What you're pitching is something I am buying.
It's been a while since I saw Clerks 2. I didn't realize its plot was so similar to Tron.
Oh, they're the same thing.
Oh, okay.
I think I would have liked Clerks 2 more
we were talking
had
about.
it had the same plot as Tron.
All right, not everybody at once.
Look, it's beat for beat. You put Tron next up to Clerks 2, it syncs up perfectly.
Yeah.
Jordan, your video is frozen. Will you log out and log yourself back in? You keep freezing and like going out of sync.
Okay.
Okay, just try logging out and logging back in. Thank you.
How's my stream doing?
It's fine. So Christopher Clark brings up the controversial question, is Tron, well, he doesn't even say.
No, that's not a question. He's making a
statement. Tron is better than Black Hole. I don't know. They're both about the same for me. They're both visually really fascinating with a lot of cool ideas on the screen. A lot of cool. The spaceship is cool. The robots are cool in there. Like all these design elements are cool. Both of them have a really dumb script. Like, and even worse, dull script.
I'm sorry.
They're both awesome.
Tron doesn't have Slim Pickens in robot form. Slim Pickens in robot form trumps everything. That's the best part of. No, I'm kidding. It's not the best part of Black Hole, but that would be the robot, the red robot, whatever it was called.
I'm trying to draw a
connection
in my head between that and The Shining, and I can't find a translation point. Like, so the guy who's the captain of the ship was actually Danny Torrance, and he put the brain of Slim Pickens in a robot. No, it doesn't work.
Slim Pickens was not in The Shining. He was in.
Slim
Pickens was in Doctor Strange.
I'm mixing him up with Scatman Crothers.
He's the guy who's riding the bomb.
Are you making the argument that the Black Hole is in the Kubrick verse? Is there a Kubrick verse now?
Not anymore. I'm not.
I'm into it.
And now that he knows he's wrong, no.
Johnny Neal says it's Bruce Boxleitner's finest work. Ah, no. The answer to that question is Babylon 5. Thank you very much.
This is coming from Johnny Neal, and you know that's a loaded statement.
Yeah. Here's the thing. Johnny Neal,
there's not a lot to
Johnny Neal is like Nathan when he grows up. Basically, he's really wrong still about lots of stuff, but man, we just love him all the more for it.
I'm not even going to touch that.
You make it so easy. Oh, Jordan's back. Hello, Jordan. Sorry.
Hello.
All right. So also, Chris says The Last Starfighter is greater than Tron.
Yes.
Disagree, Chris. Disagree. Delete
I
that
haven't
comment.
seen The Last Starfighter.
I will agree with that.
Wow.
The Last Starfighter is a kick-ass movie and kind of slaps a little harder than Tron.
I haven't seen it
and
for a
kind of
while.
unfairly forgotten.
To bring it back all the way around, the Last Starfighter episode of Clerks is one of the best episodes of that show.
Johnny.
Don't make me write a new banner about Clerks' fetch also, okay? Come on.
I
know what?
mean, hell,
Clerks
even
is not fetch. Clerks is life, dude.
even what you guys were talking about, after this is all done, I'm going to rewatch that director's cut of Dr. Sleep, which was pretty fucking
I
amazing.
still need to see that. I love Dr. Sleep. I saw it in the theater, but I haven't seen the extended cut yet.
Well, see, the only version I saw was the director's cut because
okay.
I didn't see it in theaters and I saw it was online. So I was like, okay, I can finally get a chance to watch this. Wait, this is 3 hours. Something must have gone wrong. I was like, oh, well, fuck it.
I love the director's cut. I saw the original one in the regular cut in the theater. Loved that. Saw the director's cut. Said, yeah, this is one of those films that is definitely improved. Although it's one of those, like, if it's been a while since you saw the original, you'd probably go, what did they add? It had to have been something. It's like,
Well,
30
now I don't even want to. I don't even want to.
Tiny bit there.
I don't even want to see the theatrical cut now since I only saw the director's one. And again, I absolutely loved Dr. Sleep. I thought it was pretty damn great.
I think that just proves that Stephen King is really best handled on the small screen in a serial format. I mean, it's hard to condense his movie. It's not like he writes the most complicated books in the world, but if you give them the time to breathe, they really do play better, I think, serialized than a standard 2-hour movie, because you have to cut a lot.
Johnny Neal with a classic Nathan Flynn moment right there.
Yeah. Oh, Johnny hated this.
Johnny, how did you hate Dr.
recommended it to a
Sleep?
friend, and he hated
Really?
it too.
I didn't know that.
So there's a lot of hate for Dr. Sleep.
There are
God
those people who
damn it.
just totally despise it, but there are people who feel that way about The Shining. I know people personally who are like, that movie is one of the worst overrated movies ever made. I've had someone say that to
I
my
love The
face
Shining.
in all seriousness, who was not a blithering idiot. And I was like, I have no idea what.
I know people who love The Shining and hate Dr. Sleep. So I mean,
It's true.
it's
But that's
got
less
something to
surprising.
annoy everybody.
That's less surprising, though, because a lot of people went into it who love The Shining and just, I don't know what they were expecting, but it wasn't what Dr. Sleep is.
They wanted more of The Shining, which Dr. Sleep isn't. It's a
No.
very different film that takes a lot of the trademarks of Kubrick's vision, but it's its own original work.
Yeah, I like
And
it.
outside of being an adaptation.
Just enough from Kubrick, but
I agree with you, Dan.
I don't know who that
Beyond
is.
the Stars.
Yeah, I assume their Twitter name is Cargill Fanboy.
You know, if it was it could be not Cargill. That's the username.
What?
The username would be not Cargill.
Not Cargill. Yeah, see, seriously, I'm not Cargill. No, I like Better Battle Beyond the Stars quite a bit too. It's one of the movies that you have to know what you're in for before you watch it, though. I don't think you can just.
I don't have it yet.
I don't think you can just put it on for someone and go, "This is great," and have them go, "Yes, it is." You have to go. Okay,
I did that for Alex. It did not work.
Yeah, this is a really cheap B movie that is surprisingly lots of fun.
Yeah,
Oh,
I mean,
Written
it's
by John Sayles.
I apologize.
Oh, it's done. Okay.
in a speckle way.
I just
No, I liked it better when we just imagined you were Cargill in disguise.
you should have kept with
That's a
that.
much more entertaining story. You could have just said, "No, I really am Cargill." How did you know?
I was like, Den 1981. What? How was I supposed to get? Because Den DEN is part of Dennis, so I should have figured out that was Dennis and that he was born in 1981. Maybe I don't know. I didn't know that.
clearly needs to work on a lot of things, but not that.
From 1981's Heavy Metal, the movie.
Like,
His username is a really deep cut, guys.
It is a deep cut.
I was like, I'm not really a puzzle guy. I just looked for the door that said exit in Spanish. deep cut. Sorry. A few of you out there will get that joke. Anyway, so yes, Galaxy of Terror, Worm Rape is fantastic. Totally agree. Absolutely great. Maybe my favorite movie of the Corman sci-fi flicks.
I watched Galaxina last month, and wow.
Yeah, that's something else.
Yeah, it's a movie. I don't know if it's a good one. Actually, it's not. But yeah.
Corman has a share of movies that you go, as long as you know they're Corman films going into them, you go, it's not like Trauma films where you're like, okay,
right.
You got it. Those are clearly, I mean, they're a Trauma film the moment you turn it on. They're terrible, but they're terrible in a way that appeals to, that are self-consciously terrible, and it appeals to a lot of people. I'm not a big Trauma guy, but I get it. Corman is genuinely trying to make the most with the least in his films. Yeah. And he's also got this whole strategy of like, well, let's look and see what was appealing and how I can play off that kind of in history is kind of adorable in a weird sort of way. Like he's got like 6 movies that rip off Alien, like that came out in like a year, and they're all actually not bad.
I mean, look how many great directors came out of Trauma. Name one. I know we're talking about
James Gunn.
Oh, that's easy. Yeah. James Gunn.
Yeah, but then look at all the great directors that came out of Corman films. Way more than Trauma.
James Cameron, right?
Yeah, almost everybody.
Jim Cameron, John Sayles,
Landis, all those guys. There's a ton of people.
Pretty much
everybody. You're right. Trauma is like we're bad on purpose. Trauma's like those guys who like to smell bad milk. We know it's bad, but we're going to drink it anyway.
Yeah, Dennis.
James Gunn is to Trauma what Scorsese is to Corman, basically.
Yeah.
This is great. I like that.
They didn't really so much get the career from Trauma, but the earliest works is a Trauma movie. Trey Parker and Matt Stone. Yeah, Cannibal the musical.
It's true.
I think, but that the sales for Cannibal took off more when South Park came out.
Yeah. I mean, a ton of great directors of the 70s and 80s went through the Corman school. And now you kind of have Jason Blum doing the same thing, where it's like, I'm just giving a bit of money to a talented filmmaker, and you can do whatever you want, just keep it under budget, and you get some really good results out of it.
Okay, so I want to talk no spoilers, or at least no heavy spoilers, review of Doom Patrol Season 2, which is 3 fucking episodes. I mean, come on, how serious spoilers could it be for 3 episodes? Now, obviously, we'll spoil Season 1. I don't know what to tell you. You should have watched Season 1 by now, guys.
I've seen Season 1.
Yeah, okay.
I haven't finished all of it. I'm going to go make my coffee.
Okay. Did we lose Jordan?
Jordan just wait, she finally came back. Okay, there she is.
Hello.
We got on a tangent and forgot about you. But you're
Yeah,
back.
I checked a minute ago and she wasn't there, so
she's back now.
My computer just decided to be a fuckhole and restart.
Hey, I think for whatever reason, that fan is really fucking with your microphone, Jordan. Will you turn your fan off?
All right, there.
Or something.
I my computer crash.
Yeah, my computer
my
computer just decided to be a fucking asshole and
Doom Patrol.
Yeah,
guys,
so I'm on my phone.
TV.
I was editing the new One of Us video for a short version of our game night, and my computer crashed just as I was about to put down the final title card, and then Final Cut Pro decided not to let me work on it for like an hour.
Guys, we're not the nerd squad from Best Buy, so
yeah.
Let's get
it out. So.
Oh God, look at CJ's quote: "Doom Patrol is the best funny book show on TV, no argument." I hate it when I have to agree with CJ.
I know,
but he's not wrong. I mean, I certainly don't see every comic book show on TV, but damn, Doom Patrol is good.
It is.
I really dug it.
Mike, you said you haven't watched Season 2 yet?
I haven't watched Season 2 yet, just Season 1.
Okay, I'm going to remove you temporarily from the discussion while the 3 of you have seen it. Talk about it. Cool. All right. Hello.
So no spoilers is what you're saying.
Well, no heavy spoilers, but
no heavy spoilers.
Okay,
it's hard to spoil it because we don't know where the story's going yet. But there's some good stuff here.
Let's be clear. Like, is as much stuff that happens constantly with the plot on Doom Patrol. It's not really a plot-driven show. It's a character-driven show.
Yeah,
so much insane shit constantly happens, and none of it is really relevant to the to spoiling the show. What's relevant is how the characters change because of the way those things affect them, or the information that comes out of them that changes them understand their situation. Situation here being like the big surprise from season 1 being, oh my God, the doctor in question who organized them all there, the Charles Xavier analog character, actually was responsible for all of their accidents in the first place. And in searching for immortality for himself, and not for selfish reasons, because he has a daughter, the ape-faced girl, who has this power that is possibly a destroy the world level ability of reality altering. And she, as long as she's kept happy, she's nothing to worry about. And he used to keep her
to live one day longer than his daughter.
Right, he wants to make
more than one. Yeah, like, I can live one day longer than she does.
Because that's the only thing keeping the world in check right now is Dr. Niles Caulder. That's it.
Well, I mean, because of his daughter and her being, if he was gone and now Danny the Street, who was where she was living and was happy, is gone, there's nothing, and she's going to go crazy and destroy the world. So he's like, I'm like over 100 years old. I'm going to start aging very fast. We need to start figure out something for this, because if I'm gone, shit's gonna go. I'd be like, look, man, just like there's a lot of other people around who seem like they'd like her well enough. Like, it told her to make some friends, for fuck's sakes.
It's like you created a race of immortals with weird superpowers. It's like, maybe you just leave the Doom Patrol in charge of her. It's like,
no, that's not.
Although they're terrible too.
No, they are not the perfect choice. I mean, maybe Elastigirl. She's the only one who seems like even faintly that she might be. And she seems like they're developing that, like she is a mother surrogate type character for as the show's going along. I love that all these people are having to deal with the fact that yes, what happened to them didn't have to happen to them, and that this guy who they looked at as a father figure did that to them for the right reasons. But boy, hard to swallow, right?
Right. I mean, at one point Cliff tells him, like, how come my daughter was expendable, but yours isn't? And
exactly.
Kyle doesn't say it. He should have. That's the point. It's like, if your daughter dies, that's sad. If my daughter goes crazy, then the world ends. That's the proper response to that. But then how do you tell someone that? I mean, it's such a plot crazy show. Chris is right. It is about character, and I like that.
Yeah.
But I really wish it's so dense. I wish they had a recap at the beginning, because there were some moments I was like, wait a minute, how the fuck did we end up here? I forget now.
It got weird, and I will say, I actually
got weird.
Okay, weirder.
When did it translate to weird for you, Jordan?
I'm gonna say when Flex did his flex. No. I will say I actually really. Overall, I loved the season premiere, and I'm actually really glad they made the decision of releasing the first 3 episodes together, since it actually does nicely play together as this cohesive story that actually does set up nicely the conflict of the season, and the main story going forward is, okay, how do we keep Dorothy happy? How do we also, help the Chief regain his immortality? So,
I think that's where this is going, season 2. I mean, if season 1 was about defeating Mr. Nobody, season 2 is like, okay, Coulson's no longer immortal. We've got to find a way to do it. And it seems like every episode is going to be, let's find a way to give him immortality. And which is great, because it leads to a lot of like villain of the week type episodes. That could be lots of fun.
Because I have someone who read, I don't know if you read the original Grant Morrison run, which is not the original, but it's the one this show is based on.
Oh, it's amazing.
But it's amazing, and they're already just going through the characters from that.
Yeah, I was just like, okay, so we already right out the bat get Dr. Time and Red Jack. Holy shit. And I was really happy that they actually were like, yeah, we're going to do Red Jack, and we're going to touch on the fact that he was most likely Jack the Ripper, and he's also maybe God. Who the hell knows? And it was awesome.
So far, 3 episodes in, and I'm like not disappointed at all. I find that this season, though, the most compelling character is Crazy Jane, who is they're getting more and more into what they started a deep cut with last season with her different personalities and what's going on inside her head and what the motives are for the various personalities inside her head, and that she sort of has a personality nemesis in her own brain, which I think is kind of cool. That storyline's really just starting to build, and I can't wait to see.
The thing about Miranda, which was in one of the best episodes of last season, Jane Patrol, which is where it mostly takes place in the underground. That main personality, Miranda, like we even get to see the beginnings of her essentially, and it seems like they touched upon how in season 1, once you go down the well, there's probably no way back, but now it seems Miranda may have been the one side of Jane that actually found a way out, and now that's going to be a reckoning, and I feel like that might be the antagonist of season 2, really, is this deep evil that's dormant inside Jane. Although I will say, so far, my most compelling character, honestly, is Rita Farr.
Yeah, agreed.
I loved Rita last season, but in these first 3 episodes so far, she has been the absolute most compelling, since she seems to have control over her powers now. Like, we're seeing her do stuff you'd expect from, say, Mr. Fantastic or Elongated Man and the sort. And she is becoming a mother figure to Dorothy, and kind of relishing it, honestly. Maybe to make up for that tragic backstory of hers that we got into last season. And
she's the one character who seems to want to be a hero.
Just doing her best to keep it all together because because for the past decades or so, this has been her life. This is all that's been, because I even Rita knows there's no going back to the pictures for her, as she put it. There's no going back to that career. So if she's going to do something, she's going to do some good for the world, be it, taking care of Dorothy or saving people or just whatever. She needs to do that. And I'm absolutely, in love with that. Like, so far, she is the most compelling, but Doom Patrol just has an amazing cast all around. Like, I even felt honest heartbreak with Larry's story, and particularly in the second episode.
Well, I don't want to spend over long on this, so let's go ahead and move on. Just wanted to say, I think all 3 of us agree, Doom Patrol still kicking ass. One of the best shows on TV right now. Well worth checking out.
Although, I just want to say one last thing about it. Be quick. Sure. Because
better than Tron.
It's an answer to something that Jordan brought up, which is, we're trying to figure out what's the arc of the series going to be, of the season. And the thing is, I don't think we'll really get it, because this is a 9-episode season. They were going to do 15, just like last season, but they had to halt production during episode 10. They were like a week or 2 from finishing episode 10 because of the coronavirus. And so they had to kind of take footage from episodes 9 and 10 to kind of construct a finale. But whatever their big plan in that last 5 episodes, that's completely pushed off into the future. So I'm really curious to see how they construct a finale when the season was envisioned as a much bigger arc. So I'm curious to see where they go with that. Season 3 can't get here fast enough.
Me too. All right. So let's bring in our other folks here.
I am too.
Hey.
Hello.
Hey.
Tron Guy. He's back.
Yep.
God damn it.
I love Tron Guy.
I mean, just to me, he's now in my head. I kept thinking of him as what's his name from Stephen Root from The Office. He's like, I've seen my Tron.
Oh, totally.
I was told there would be like a power disc of some kind.
There would be a Tron 3.
Also, the name you were looking for is Milton.
Night Cycle.
Thank you. There's Mike. Hello, Mike.
Hola.
I'm not making fun of Mike. He's had a tough week, so I'm going to let that one go until he gives me a good reason to make fun of him. Go ahead. Open your mouth.
Close 2 was awesome. No, it's actually been a pretty good week. I put out a short film this week, and the reception's been good on it so far. Actually, I just got a text from my sister who just watched it with her husband. She really liked it. So,
Nice.
yeah, that's been great because I've been working so hard on that for the last couple months. Then having people come on say they really like it, it's been awesome.
That's awesome, man. I finally did watch it, and I liked it too.
Thank you.
Maciek from Poland, who's an animation expert, calls it fun. And then
Yay.
that slogan that I always think looks like someone showing their butt. I know that's not what it means, but it's like, is that what that's supposed to be? Someone like leaning over and showing you their butt? I don't know.
Yeah,
I see a duckbill with lips.
Thank you so much, Maciek. It means a lot.
It's supposed to be a heart,
pointed cock,
right? But I'm like, it's a guy going, you know.
Hey, now.
Thanks for that, Chris.
Getting a
That's
free
only
show.
for subscribers now. Don't give the goods away for free.
Special bonus. All right. So I didn't want to have to subject him to that. So I waited till I post my butt to bring in Hunter.
So, hello everyone. How's it going?
Hello.
Cheers.
What's up, Hunter?
How are you, sir?
Oh man, I've been living that silk life ever since quarantine. Just got like 8 pairs of silk pajamas. So this is pretty much my weekend wear. So I'm chilling. I'm good. As you can
The
tell by my
glare
hair.
on your glasses looks like Adam Sandler and Uncut Gems.
First off, you know what? Okay, I'll take that Adam Sandler comparison. Any other one past the 8 Crazy Nights, I'd be offended by.
I don't know what's going on with
Spanglish?
Jordan. He's like dropping
Yeah,
in and out. He must be having
She's-
internet problems.
We lost her, but okay, she'll be back, I'm sure. She's just having some internet
I saw
issues.
something that made me laugh very hard today where someone had posted a thing that was to make you think at first, oh shit, here we go. It's like Adam Sandler accused by multiple women of having made terrible movies. I laughed.
He's one of those cases of someone where I just always think, what a shame. Like, because there was just such a long gap where he's putting out nothing but just dog shit. And then Hotel Transylvania came out, and I remember I went, oh, that was a pleasant surprise. And then, of course, they ruined it with the next 2. And it's just like, could you try to just not do dog crap over and over again? So Uncut Gems was great. I was like, go figure.
I was like, hey, here's some really good directors making essentially the same movie they've made for the last 4 movies, only this time it's got a really famous guy in it who's not known for doing drama, playing one of his characters if it wasn't funny. Uncut Gems.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
the Safdie brothers said, that they took a long time to get a hold of him because he's a busy dude. And all I can think of is that Adam Sandler doesn't make a lot of good movies because no one ever gets around to asking him. It's like if someone's like, you want to go make a movie in Fiji and invite, all your friends and Chris Rock and David Spade. He's like, yeah, let's do it. It'll be fun. We'll bring the kids. It'll be great. We'll just hang out on the beach after we wrap every night. But if somebody, because he's off doing that, if somebody actually picked up the phone and said, actually, would you like to be in a good movie? I think that's what it is. I think people just haven't asked him to be in good movies.
I mean, that still always kind of baffles me. I mean, that guy's record is like 90% not good stuff, right? Like 90%, and maybe like 20% of that 90% is like some of the worst movies ever made. So, like, who looks at that and goes, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna get that guy for my movie"? I will never understand that thing. That once every 5 years, somebody who's genuinely a good and talented director goes, "I'm gonna star Adam Sandler as the main guy in my movie."
I think they watch Punch Drunk Love and they go, "Oh shit, this guy can act."
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I love Punch Drunk Love. That's like one of my favorite movies.
I disagree on that Will Ferrell remark, Dan.
That Will Ferrell is bad. I don't think he's anywhere near as bad as Sandler.
No.
I think both of them have very limited acting abilities. I think both of them are as good as they're capable of being, depending on the director that they're working with. People are raving about once again. People keep raving about Sandler's performance in Uncut Gems. I'm like, dude, it's just that we've seen him play this character like 30 times. It's the same fucking character, except there's no jokes. That's
It's the same energy, but it's not funny.
Yeah, exactly.
Basically,
performance. I'm like, okay,
but see, it's not performance, but it's not really deep.
It's not bad, but it's still like it's nothing. It was nothing new for him. It was just there was a really good director and a really good script. They were able to take that. What if that character was a real person and we put him in a real situation?
I liked
So
him in Uncut Gems. I just couldn't stand like all those reviews that were like, I can't picture anybody besides Sandler playing this role. I'm like, John Turturro? Question mark.
I am. There are a few of the
Any
Sandler comedies.
Jewish man of a certain age. I mean, there are plenty of great actors in Hollywood who fit that bill in any era of the past 40, 50 years. I mean, he's not bad in it. You're right. I secretly think that they just told him it was a comedy and they wrote jokes in the script and he did the jokes. And then in the editing room, they just cut the jokes out. It's like, this is a really long build-up. Trust us, Adam. But that one reaction shot where you look at the screen and just say something like, "That's not my tuna," they'll go, "Oh, that's going to be hilarious."
Where's my song? I did a whole song about Jewish people selling like gem and precious jewels in New York. It was really funny. Yeah. That's going to be the director's cut. Adam, calm down. Jesus Christ.
It's going to be there. We promise.
I think he's great in the film. It'd be in my top 15 films from last year, but I was never thinking, oh, this is an Oscar worthy performance. It's like, let's all calm down a little bit.
I thought it was worth the nomination, but I did come out of that movie I did come out and think it's one of the best films of the year. I thought it's certainly good, but it's no Good Time, which I fucking love Good Time.
Good Time is the better film of the two, but that's partially because Good Time actually. It's just got more of a sense of velocity to it. There's more stuff at stake, and the character of Good Time has one redeeming quality.
Right.
I can't.
It has a moment of hope at the very end.
Yeah, you're like, hey, if nothing else, this guy will do anything to protect his brother, which is something you're like, okay, I can ride with that. Sandler doesn't have any redeeming qualities in Uncut Gems, and I'm like, fuck this guy. I don't care.
And also with Uncut Gems, like I didn't know much about Robert Pattinson outside of Twilight, so. It's, I went to Uncut Gems being surprised, going, "Oh, this motherfucker can act." Whereas Adam Sandler, certainly he puts on a very good performance, but I've seen Punch Drunk Love several times. I know the guy can do very well if given the right material.
By the way, Frank, with my quote of the year from Frank.
Right on.
Frank made an argument on a review we did that people get so wrapped up about their character has to have redeeming qualities and their character is bad. I'm like, look, man,
I tend to be relatable.
I don't mind a character who is a negative bad guy character, but they have to either A, be so cool as to being like super likable, like a la any given Quentin Tarantino character, or B, they have to have something that drives them that is relatable, that you go, okay, despite everything else shitty you do and every other moral problem you have this one thing.
Which is
like,
Addison's character.
If you're just pure bad and you have no redeeming qualities either in entertaining to watch or funny or have that, then no, that's not good.
Or
the character doesn't have to be likable, they just have to be compelling.
Yeah, I was about to say they need to be interesting to watch.
Yeah.
That's why It's Always Sunny works for me. So
exactly.
He asked, "What did everyone think of Harley Quinn season 2?" I actually just getting ready to put up our review tomorrow or the next day. I
season 2 was great.
Really great. It's DC kind of weirdly killing it right now with the television stuff. I don't know. DC goes through rounds of killing it on TV, right?
So outside of Arrow, which I just think was just the biggest waste of a fucking TV show, like that show just pissed me off. And how they keep going up and down with Flash is infuriating. But Supergirl was great this past season. So was Black Lightning. So was Legends. I'm like, okay. And that's why with their movies, I'm like, God damn it, why can't we just match this shit with... Because I watched Justice League Dark Apocalypse, and I thought that was...
fucking hated that, dude.
Did you really? Oh, I love that movie.
That's my single least favorite of the animated movies. Like the one.
Mine's Killing Joke. Mine's Killing Joke by far. I hated the Killing Joke.
I'm way with you. I paid in a theater to go see that shit, and
I went to a Fathom event.
What?
I went to a Fathom event for it. And,
Same. They put down parts of the projection, like they pulled curtains and played it on a smaller version of the big screen because they're like, "Oh, this shit looks horrible."
Johnny Neal points out Stargirl
Stargirl is great.
Stargirl.
I keep hearing Stargirl is terrific. It's also on the streaming service, which right there made me go, okay. Plus, it's like Justice Society of America stuff, not League. Very different.
Yeah.
They're like the C Squad sort of in DC Comics, like the Justice League, but ones you've never heard of. And ever since Jeff Johns, it was one of the early things for DC with Jeff Johns, where he took over this book that no one cared about. Like no one cared about at all. These characters, they were all but, characters that would be on trivia, like what are the most forgotten about characters in the DC universe. And he reinvented them and rebooted them and made them where some were like the children of others who had retired and have like difficulty emotionally dealing with that stuff. He basically made them grown up, really fascinating book. And that whole run is like one of my favorite DC runs of all time. And I was going, wow, I can't wait to see what they end up finally doing with Justice Society. And so for the CW, kind of like, they're like this with JSA characters. Like
it's
okay.
Well, the problem is with CW stuff is that sometimes they make it so teen angsty melodramatic, like it plays more like a Vampire Diaries spinoff than a DC show, and that's the biggest problem that just derailed Arrow. Once they started putting in Lazarus Pits, I was like, guys, come on, like, can we please not do this shit? But then you look at something like The Flash. Like the first couple seasons of The Flash, I thought were excellent, and then it just, it's.
I think I saw 15 minutes of a DC show because someone else was watching it. And I just walked in the room and I was like, watching for a little while. I was like, man, this looks cheap.
And you guys are braver than me. I watched the first 3 seasons of Arrow, and then like the first the first season of The Flash, and then like the first episode of the second season. I was like, fuck this.
I was like, I left that whole universe. Cheap, but again, it's like if it's compelling. But what I was watching just seemed kind of like soap opera level bad acting, only with people in ill-fitting costumes and cheap-looking sets. I'm like, if I want cheap-looking shit, but want it interesting, I'll go watch old episodes of Doctor Who. I don't need to watch.
I did watch Legends.
Legends, when it started, had a rough first season. It didn't know exactly what it wanted to be yet. It was toying with, we're kind of an American Doctor Who, but it hadn't really fully committed to the idea. And it was somewhere stuck between the style and formula of the other CW shows that were going on, because they were all pretty much like leftover characters from those shows, like crammed together on their own spinoff, and Doctor Who. So it didn't totally work. It worked here and there. The second season, somebody went, fuck this. Let's just be American Doctor Who. And it goes crazy good. And that is where it's like Robert Davies' Doctor Who at its best, right? Where it's like, wow, you're nailing it. 3 goes into Stephen, what's his name? The guy followed up Davies on Doctor Who. His Doctor Who, where it's goofier.
Moffat,
yeah, it's more Stephen Moffat, where it's goofier. The love arcs are a little more strangely intense. It's a little more soap opera-y, and you're like, okay, this is still really good. It's getting a little goofy, though. I mean, and then by the time the 4th season is like, okay, you guys, you jumped the shark. You went too far into full-blown goofy. Where now I'm like, okay, this is now just a parody of Doctor Who.
So it's funny. I actually so Legends is my second favorite DC. Second favorite DC show behind Black Lightning, which I think has been just one of the few constants on DC, which has been nice. What I really want is for them to use HBO Max in the way I think Marvel's going to use Disney Plus. Like, I would love to get a Brandon Routh limited series to tie in, like, after Superman Returns, leading up to the Crisis event. I want that so badly. If I could get that, and it. Oh, go ahead, Mike.
Oh, no, I saw very little bit of Crisis because my roommate watches it, and bringing back Ralph was a very interesting idea. It's like, I like where you're going, like where you can do some kind of mini series that follows up like what happened in that world. Possibly, you will definitely have to recast Lex Luthor, but I'd be down with that.
Get
Christopher Plummer to play. Get Christopher Plummer.
I'm genuinely waiting for at this point for DC to just say, fuck it, we're going to Crisis the entire CW verse, because they just did it in the animated films. They Crisis the animated films. Like none of that happened. It's now starting fresh, which is always annoying for DC, but that's DC for you. It sounds like that's what they're doing in the movies. It sure sounds like it in the films. That's what they're doing, saying, fuck it. We're like, none of that shit happened. Here's how it actually happened. Like one of the other endings to Clue.
Is that what they're going to do with bringing in Eden back?
The television series, they literally had a run that was Crisis, and they started toying with it, those ideas, but they haven't fully committed yet. But Arrow's like fucking over. They're trying to do another season that's like, oh, the girls of Arrow, but in the future. Nobody wants to see that shit.
What the
like
fuck?
the thing that's so maddening about DC, and this is something I argue with on people like from my podcast or on Twitter constantly. They're like, you just hate DC. I'm like, dude, I have all the Batman animated series stuff, the special editions, might I add. The animated universe was so good, Marvel just stopped making animated movies after a while. They're like, all right, these aren't hitting, let's just stop. So you see something like Justice League Unlimited, which is one of my favorite animated TV shows ever. I think it's just a masterclass.
Agreed.
And then you watch the films and how inconsistent they are, and it's so goddamn frustrating. It's like, oh, we have Wonder Woman over here, but we have Suicide Squad over here somehow. And you know, the fact we're getting an Ayer cut is just something I really can't express how much I don't want that. Like,
there's another cut of Suicide Squad?
Oh yeah.
Like, we can fix it.
Yeah, like at some point, like I told my friend, I was who's a huge DC apologist. I finally told him, I'm like, dude, at some point you have to look forward and stop trying to fix this bullshit. It's like I don't hear anything about Thor: The Dark World extended cut. I wouldn't want that either. It's like, can we just move on?
It should be a Thor: The Dark World.
How you watch that bad taste out of your mouth? You just make another Thor movie, but better than the last one.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Like, no, we can re-edit it and add new footage. Like, no, just fuck it. Just make another one.
For the Dark World, release a TD cut.
The problem is that they're so afraid of the fans who bafflingly love Batman v Superman and Justice League, who think it's perfect, all the dark super edgelord shit in there, think that's exactly how it should be, and get upset anytime there's so much as a fucking joke in the movie. You're like, have you even read the comic books this is based on, dude? Because I don't think you have. I think you want it to be some other totally different thing that has nothing to do with what
it's not fucking Watchmen. Watchmen is funny as fuck.
They're so scared of that crowd.
Really grim dour shit. There is
but they also look at Marvel.
You could be watching. It's a comic book movie. Give me comic book shit.
Marvel's doing stuff where the fans love it, the critics love it. It's making shit tons of money, and everyone but this whole crowd screams so loud, "Don't be like that! That stuff is bad." I'm like, according to you, instead of 95% of the rest of the fans out there in the world.
The biggest problem DC has is that they've tried to make everyone Batman. That is the biggest problem that they've had, and I had to explain to my friend just when I saw the first initial trailer for Justice League, I'm like, goddamn, could they brighten up these costumes? The Flash's costume is so bright and exuberant. Superman is supposed to be
Snyder vision.
You know what the number one?
I think Nolan deserves some credit for that too. We should have dumped it all on.
Sure, yeah, no, I mean,
he was like, "I'm going to put Batman, except instead of stupid comic book shit, I'm just going to make a '70s action thriller, and you just have to believe there's a guy in a bat suit, and there's no other superheroes because that's fucking weird, and I'm just going to tone the villains down so they kind of look like they could exist in a real world." Yeah, that was the template that everybody took from that.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
that works as a graphic novel, but that doesn't work as a platform to launch a universe.
I contend that in the ideal Nolan Batman universe, there aren't any other superheroes. There wouldn't be. It's the whole idea of like there's one guy who does it.
I saw that.
He doesn't even have superpowers. He just has the greatest superpower, money.
Wait, so the comic poster is going to be a Snyder-ish version of Shazam. How the fuck do you do that?
So first off, if they're trying to do that, they have clearly not read Shazam ever. Two, Shazam is supposed to be. I think that's one of the best things that they did for the movies because New 52 Billy Batson is such a dick. I was like, you got to tone this back a little bit if we're gonna like him, and so they were able to find that balance, and the movie's way better for it.
The movie's far more comical than anything like the Marvel movies.
Yeah.
I mean, the Marvel Jesus Christ DC movies. So like, it's weird to think that someone could try to make Shazam dark. How the fuck does that work? That'll be like 5 minutes, probably, right?
It's like, who wants that?
It's just the scene where his mother abandons him played on a loop for about an hour.
That really terrific scene where they're yelling across, like the when Shazam and the other guy are floating in the city and they're yelling, but the joke is that they can't hear each other. All the jokey parts are gonna be cut, so it's much shorter where they're actually just talking to each other.
I keep thinking one of the first steps they need to do to fix that universe, if they're not going to have a drastic, okay, and now it's totally different people playing it and different things, is have a scene where these characters are talking and they walk into the Justice League room or whatever it is, and Batman or Superman just sitting having coffee and talking, and then one of them goes to the other, so what exactly did you think I meant with that whole Martha thing? I don't know. I was really stressed out at the time. Something like that, where they're laughing about how absurd.
Do the live action version of those how it should have ended sketches with Batman and Superman in the cafe.
There's all this talk about bringing Michael Keaton back in like a Flash movie, and that there was some talk about like him maybe existing in like different universes. Is that how
it's
they're
based on the most popular recent Flash run,
Flashpoint,
where he goes back in time and changes like his mom getting killed when he's young, and that drastically changes the timeline. And that was a very, very popular run, not in the comics so much, but the animated films. It's considered one of the very best of the animated films.
Oh, definitely.
And it's influenced almost everything in DC since then. Like even in the comics, shit is still going on in the comics because of that Flashpoint, which was what, like 10 years ago or something?
Yeah.
But
I thought
it plays in like the universe that Tim Burton established. That's what I'm curious to see.
It's like, what if there was a crisis event and then we fixed it, and then it turned out it wasn't completely fixed, but we didn't find out till that shit was too late. That's kind of the plot run of Flashpoint in the long term. And that's fine. I like that. Okay, but I'll be curious to see if that's what their plan is to fix the movies.
Yeah, I just have
bring us the Flashpoint version of the George Clooney Batman. I want to see that. Come on, redeem it.
I've just been hurt by DC live action stuff so much. Like I'm just at this point where it's like, can you just be good or just be shit? Like consistently, so I can stop having this jet lag effect. Because and the problem is when you fall in the middle on something. Because I enjoyed Joker, didn't think it was like a top 10 film. I thought Joaquin's performance was great, but
I mean, it's definitely not in the same universe as those other films, right?
No way. But just as a film, I'm just like, this is good, but like I never felt like great because I remember people
like first Scorsese.
Yeah, but I haven't had a huge. But I also had a problem with The Irishman too, because it's that whole Gone with the Wind concept, where it's like just because something's 3.5 hours doesn't mean it's a masterpiece. And I know
Jordan, I'm not sorry. I'm reading Jordan's comments and looking at Hunter. I hate when I do that. Hunter, let's admit that the running time is not the biggest problem with Gone with the Wind.
I mean, true. But I'm using that as an example. Just to
HBO didn't remove it because it's a 3-hour movie.
But
I saw Irishman uninterrupted in the theater twice, and I enjoyed it and felt like the hours flew by.
Dude,
I enjoyed it.
It's fine. It's fine. I enjoy it too.
There are 3-hour movies that don't feel that long. It is I haven't bothered with.
When people go, it should have been a miniseries, I completely fucking
I agree.
Yeah, there's no reason that should have been made as a movie. It's even set up in arcs, kind of like television episodes. I'm like, what are you doing making this into a movie? That's like, let's make our audience uncomfortable as possible.
There was actually talk about somebody online was like, here's how to watch The Irishman. And I'm sure it sounds sacrilegious to someone like Scorsese, but he was like, look, here's where you pause it. If you have to watch it, here's where the act break would be. Yeah. And basically, he found like 2 spots that were ideal. It's like, so you basically have 3 hour and 20-minute episodes of a really excellent crime saga.
Well, it's interesting because I liked Silence actually more than I liked
Silence.
Than I liked The Irishman. I found Silence really interesting, and I was engaged the whole time.
I never saw Silence.
I enjoyed it. It's one of my.
I really enjoyed it.
I didn't see that.
I'm with you.
It was playing. Like I remember one time when I went to LA, it was playing, and I almost went to go see it. I think I went to go see Rogue One instead, or whichever Star Wars movie came out that year.
Oh, Rogue One's great.
You're lost.
Rogue One is the best.
You made the right call, Mike.
Yeah, that's the best Star Wars film that Disney's made since they acquired Lucas. In my opinion,
Solo.
Rogue One. Solo? Really?
Just
You like
fucking say
Solo more?
Solo.
I'm not going to argue with Hunter on this one.
I mean, I like Solo, but best, come on.
We've spent 45 minutes talking about DC. We cannot go into Star Wars. That is not going to happen. Instead, what I'm going to do is start the challenge round. That's right. The picture very type music that I don't have.
I'll dub in some music at the end on the edit.
Oh, well, thank you. So what this round is going to be is the topic is questions every geek should know about their favorite geekdom, which means if you don't count the questions, what they involve as your favorite geekdom, you're probably not going to know the answers. But you might, and we shall see. What we're going to do here is, rather than having the audience who's watching, please do not shout out the answers to the questions. Instead, why don't you pick the member of our team to answer the question, and then if they get it wrong, everybody else gets a shot. That sounds fair. Let's do it that way. And we're going to start.
God damn it.
You guys love me.
Wait, every question a geek should know?
These are questions every geek
or things every geek should know.
I don't
have
know
a question that implies they don't know about it.
Every geek should know about their own geekdom. Like, let's say I'm a big Star Trek fan.
Name every alien in the Mos Eisley Cantina.
I should know what this question is. But if I wasn't a Star Trek fan, I might not know. You know what I mean?
So if you're a dickish gatekeeper, what is the question you would use to stump a newbie, is what you're saying.
The gatekeeper game.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, let's play your little game.
Let's start with this right here. What does Qapla' actually mean?
Does anyone can answer? I think it was success, doesn't it?
But, hey, do you remember what I just said when this started?
I was asking that, and you just completely talked over me. So
you said the answer. Marco was the person who was supposed to answer it.
Okay, how do we know, or how do we say we're going to answer?
I tell you who gets to answer first.
Okay.
Yes, I thought I was clear. I apologize.
I thought you were clear. It's fine.
Anyway, it doesn't matter. That is, in fact, success or to wish fortune on someone, if you will. Those Klingons, they are all about telling their friends how much they like them.
Good job, Marco.
They do say Qapla'.
Well done.
Yeah, Marco, you nailed that one.
It kind of means 2 or 3 different things, but it's all kind of, it's good. It's like the Klingons version of fuck. It's like an adverb. It's a noun. It's a verb. You can use it in so many ways. It's very flexible.
All right, our next question. Remember, do not yell out the answer. I'll wait tell you who gets to answer first. All right. What is engraved exactly, word for word, on the One Ring? And Dennis calls out Mike this time.
You're betting the wrong fucking horse, dude. I hardly know dick about fucking Lord of the Rings, I'll be honest.
That is exactly what it says.
Really? it says there's only one return. It's not of the king, it's of the Jedi.
All right, who wants to take it?
I think I'll take a crack at it. It's the song, isn't it? The 9 men, one ring to bind them all, 9 for the Lord, the mortal man, 8 for the dwarves in the halls of stone. I read that book when I was
one ring to rule them all.
I'm not gonna remember the whole thing.
Do you think this is like shorthand on the ring, that they're like, oh, that's like a whole book on there?
Like, it's in Quenya. I mean, does that count? Or is it Sindarin? I can never tell.
I don't know. Does anybody else know?
No. I could finish that poem for him.
No, it is 1 ring to rule them all, 1 ring to find them.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Oh, that's right there.
It's
I just did a Clerks 2 reference. I should have just gone with the other Clerks 2 thing.
Yeah,
I was debating whether or not.
Because that would have been the one thing I would have known from Lord of the Rings.
I basically started at the beginning.
But it's seen Clerks 2 several times. I should know.
I could never get in those movies. Yeah,
Fuck.
I think they're fucking amazing, but
that's why I'm doing questions from multiple different fandoms.
Fair.
And we'll go to this fandom next. Oh boy. So let's see. Your question. As soon as I can pull up my sheet, because I don't know what happened to it. There it is. God damn it. 2 things. All right. How many stargates are located on Earth? And fans, who's going to answer? Let's see. Was that? Yes, that was Igzy saying Hunter.
Okay, good. I haven't seen. Oh, damn it!
Yeah, I've always seen Stargate once, so
Yeah, 5. I don't know.
That is incorrect, sir.
I had a feeling.
Does anyone else know the answer to this? No? All right, so I only know this because I hate the movie of Stargate. I think it's fucking terrible. It's got a few cool moments in the first act that I really like, and then it leads into this really dumb. Wait, so the gate just goes to fucking like Disney's Egypt? That's stupid.
I've only seen it because I went to a master pancake of it.
Right, but the show is actually really good where they go, oh, wait, it's a Stargate. That's the whole point. It can go all over the universe. And they're like, fuck, there's gates all over to all these different galaxies that go everywhere. It's like, okay, now this is good. And the answer is 2. One that Ra brought with them in the movie, and the other one was constructed by the Atlanteans that I don't believe was mentioned until the spinoff Stargate Atlantis.
Okay.
There's just too many damn Stargates, damn it.
Yeah.
Too many
It is
Stargates.
a Fargate from the makers of Independence Day.
Do we have James Bond questions?
What?
Jones?
James Bond questions? No, I don't have James Bond questions. I'm sorry.
God
He's like,
damn
where's
it.
the David Niven questions for Nathan? He's like, I don't understand
Exactly.
my fandom. David
Vince
Niven's like
Gilligan questions?
70-year-old
Anybody?
film fan
So you're
trapped in
limiting
a
yourself to
20-year-old
Casino
film.
Royale?
Nathan and Marco have switched brains. I don't know what happened.
I'm just waiting for all my guys.
Suddenly, I love
questions.
Tron. It's so fucking weird.
All right, we're gonna bring Jordan back in. There you go.
Finally, my Wi-Fi is fucking.
Welcome back.
All right, just in time for the next trivia question.
All right.
Let's see what that is. What was the name of the alien creatures in Starship Troopers? People in the audience who will answer this question. And it looks like Jordan was the first answer. Jordan?
Shit. Damn it. I rewatched this, I think, a month or 2 ago. Yeah, I know it's not
yourself when you hear it.
Bugs.
They're called Starship Trooperoids.
Starship Troopers?
Is it Michael Ironside's testicles? I don't know.
No, that is a good answer. Anyone else know?
Or are they called like
Revolving
arachnids or
pods.
something like that?
What'd you say?
That's awesome.
What was Mike, what'd you say?
Would they call something along the lines of like arachnids or something like that?
That is correct. They
Yeah.
called arachnids.
Fuck yeah.
That is not a spider.
So when are the Tron questions?
That's the only reason I'm on here. Yeah, give me
I
some
said for
time.
people who have, these are for things like things that have a sizable fandom.
There are dozens of them.
Not like
I
this.
have a Zoom meeting with them every day.
Not like the fan equivalent of that guy standing outside the 7-Eleven asking you if you got an extra cigarette.
Hey, you got an extra cigarette? And also, what do you think Clue's deal is? Like, why did it go bad?
Speaking
We'll
of
answer questions about Tron for food.
Speaking of guys who look like the guy standing outside the 7-Eleven asking for an extra cigarette, that's Alan Moore. And the question is, what is the name of Alan Moore's god?
Oh, fuck. I used to know this.
Oh, fuck me.
I knew this because the guy I used to smoke pot with in college. We'll talk about this.
I think Nathan is the one who got assigned this one. Nathan?
Oh, lucky.
Oh,
Damn it.
God. Shit.
Yeah.
Fuck. Shit,
come
fuck
on,
was
come
my
on.
answer.
Shit fuck is your answer? Anybody
Shit
got a
fuck is
better
my
answer?
answer.
Isn't it Glycon?
It's not Baphomet.
It is Glycon. That is correct.
Oh.
It is Glycon.
Yes, there you go.
I
Boom.
thought they Snaky McSnakerton.
Wait,
Yeah,
what is it
Glycon-
called again?
Glycon is an ancient cult
Glycon,
snake
yeah.
god, really a real thing, that was founded by Alexander of Abu Nuticus in the mid-2nd century, that was dismissed later by scholars saying, okay, clearly this was like a fake cult for money. But Alan Moore's whole point was, well, you just got to pick a god at some point, right? And he seemed as good as any.
Yeah, why not?
So basically, it's a joke. He's like, okay,
That's on brand.
none of them are real, so why not just pick the goofy one?
That's
This
on
is
fucking
this
brand.
is the god that he's sicked on Grant Morrison, is what you're saying.
I guess so. I think that was the
My
chaos
god
thing.
will smite you.
Eat praise whenever another fucking Watchmen thing is being made.
Yeah. I'm probably seething even now. God damn it, people actually like that thing. Fuck, what do I do now? All right, our next question. Of course, you knew there's going to be this. Who is the leader of the World Crime League?
Oh, fuck.
Okay, and Hunter.
Oh, I have no idea. Good Lord. Shoot.
Points for clever answers.
Steve Zissou.
Ziggy Marley, the guy of the Brothers with Dreads.
All I know is Buckaroo Banzai is going to stop him.
Right?
Whoever
So anybody know the answer to this one? Anybody cool enough to know the answer to this one?
I love Buckaroo Banzai, but not that much.
I've only seen Buckaroo Banzai once. I like that movie, and I've been meaning to watch it again at some point. Never had a chance to, but I don't know the names of all the characters.
Well, the answer is Hanoi Zan, and that was one that, believe it or not, like if you like the big Buckaroo Banzai fans, which I am one, that's like we all know because that was the sequel that never happened, and he figured prominently in the book that was even came out before the movie did, and the comics are all about him, and they kind of obscurely reference him in the movie. But like, if you're like a big fan, you're like, God damn it, movie I most wanted a sequel to ever that never happened. Yeah. You know who Hanoi Zan is, but his name is never actually said in the movie, so it sounds obscure, but it really isn't for people who are big fans of that geekdom. Like I said, I'm chasing after that. And we'll see what happens with this next one. I thought this one was a little easier, but we shall see. And let's go to the picture.
Oh, damn it.
Question is, what is the name of the government organization that conspires with the aliens in the X-Files?
Oh,
and
Fox News. Or just the
right?
Fox Network.
It should be that. Well, nobody is speaking up to pick someone, so I will and say, how about Marco?
Damn it. I don't fucking know. I rage quit that shit.
Oh, come on.
Fuck.
So, now anybody know?
It's been so long since I watched X-Files.
Syndicate.
That is right. Syndicate.
Hey.
Now, also would have taken the Elders, the Consortium, or the group. All of those are acceptable answers to that.
So you're saying there's really not an answer to that. They couldn't even fucking keep the name of their bad guys straight. That's how people inherit that show became.
Yeah, the X-Files got a little depressing, I'll say.
Oh, it did. It had an incredibly strong first 4 seasons, a pretty good second 2 seasons, and from there, I don't know what the fuck happened.
Yeah, he just lost his mind because that movie Fight for the Future or whatever.
Yeah.
I fucking hate that movie so much.
Oh, really?
I was so
I hate the marketing of that movie and every X-Files episode because every week they're like, stay tuned for next week. All your questions will be answered. Or next week, finally, the truth will be revealed. Then you watch, they wouldn't. They're like, the conspiracy was actually a lie. It was just a conspiracy to hide the true conspiracy. I'm like, fuck you.
Marco's like,
why don't have an answer for this story? Don't have an ending. You're fucking wasting my time.
I agree with shows that have no ending point where you're like, we'll just keep going. I mean, that was the show that was stuck between the time of shows going, oh, well, people want one continuous story, and shows that go, no, we're going to keep going as long as it's making money. You know, we've finally come around to shows that have one continuous story should have a definitive ending point where a lot of the networks are realizing nobody wants to see it or will trust a show that is one story that keeps teasing a mystery box but has no solution. Right. Yeah. Thank God for that. X-Files was kind of like in the very early stages of that, of people starting to realize, fuck, what do we do now? We've created a mystery upon a mystery upon a mystery wrapped in a burrito with contradictory evidence. We don't have anybody hired to keep track of the information here, so we got to hire in and work out something so we can write an answer that answers all this stuff. And there was just no way to do it at that point. It was like there was like shit about bees stinging people with viruses and shit. And you're like, wait, what?
Murder hornets? Murder hornets?
Oh god, can we not?
Come on.
I will say I enjoyed the movie, but the movie was just an episode of the show. If you want
the first one, I enjoyed. The first movie, I enjoyed.
The first one is an episode of the show. If you're not watching the show, you'd go into that movie going, "What the fuck is this shit?"
Seriously.
And again, the movie billed itself like it was going to wrap everything up.
Right.
And then you did it, and I was just like,
I thought the second movie I thought was okay, but it But thinking the second episode was just so episodic, though. That's the thing. It didn't really like tie a lot of shit together. It was just, oh hey, Mulder and Scully are back to deal with this one
I've
random
only
thing.
seen one episode with the fucked up inbred people, and
Oh,
I was
the
just like,
classic.
I don't
Just-
need any more.
Wow,
of
that
this.
is one of the
That's one of the best
The
ones.
standalone
man.
episodes were fine.
That
That's
was
Oh,
what
hell yeah.
fantastic. I was
That was
just
one of the best
like,
episodes of the
No, the mythology is great up through the first 4 seasons, and then it
Yeah.
gets super confusing and has no idea what it's doing and is going a billion different ways. And it's about the same time, right after the movie, where it goes from this to this, and you're like, oh, it's cinematic now. The show has decided it's cinematic, and it started taking itself way too seriously and being like, oh, yeah, we're like a movie every week. You're like, oh, stop.
Yeah,
It's
it should have just been an update on Kolchak the Night Stalker. That's all I wanted it to be. It's like, we're gonna go chase a chupacabra this week. Okay, next week it's gonna be a mummy. That'd be great.
That's what we have Supernatural for.
like,
I'm just saying. That's if you want that's Supernatural. So
I still haven't seen that show, but I hear that the Doom
Yeah.
Patrol showrunners came out of that. So I like what they're doing on Doom Patrol. Maybe I'll catch. Did Supernatural run for like a decade or something?
15 seasons.
Still going.
Yeah.
Seasons? No,
It's
I don't think
insane.
I have time to watch all of that.
Right?
I've heard so many people be like, nah.
Years, and it's only got 7 seasons. I can handle that.
all right, let's
I'll
go back
tell
to the
people,
countdown.
hey, you should watch Mad Men, and then they'll be like, no, I don't have enough time. I'm rewatching Supernatural right now. I'm like, why?
Well, I rewatched Supernatural too because it's really super fucking fun. I like it a lot, but I also have watched a lot
Are
of
wrong
Mad
most
Men
of the time.
So, are wrong
nothing.
most of the time. Oh, yeah, okay, all right, sure. Yeah, with all your
Broken
years
clock's
of
right
experience,
twice
you
a
go
day.
right ahead.
Do we have more questions? Or are we done with questions?
Yeah,
Oh,
are we
we're-
doing a 60s Mission Impossible question?
No, we're not. We're doing this as a question. And the
Oh.
question is, what does
Talk about
Valar,
things that ended badly.
what does Valar Morghulis translate to in the common tongue? Wrong picture. Wait, do that. Okay, there you go.
Man,
Mark-
I haven't watched Game of
I
Thrones
think I
forever.
remember.
All right,
don't
whoever.
know.
What does it translate to?
All men die.
All men must die.
All men
That is
must die.
correct. Close enough. What the fuck? I'm not going
I
to
think
stand
that's
on.
more accurate.
Son of a bitch. Well played.
Not all men must die, but all men will die. So,
Man,
All right.
trivia is not you guys' strong point. Is all I'm saying right here.
Well,
You
I mean,
did.
it's a lot of shit that I
Okay,
don't really
I'm great
care
at
about.
seeing it.
that I don't care about.
Show me some movie clips.
Exactly.
Don't be criticizing my
Yeah,
trivia
yeah.
style. I know what I'm doing,
We
motherfucker.
got Midnight Run questions
That's-
in here.
See? No one would know. No one would know the answer to a midnight run question except you, Nathan.
That is true. I
gotta go
haven't
get
seen
some
Midnight.
For midnight
That's
run.
like the last great movie Martin Brest made.
Yeah, I know, and that's there you go.
Yeah, that's true. Actually,
I mean,
It's
I really
so
like
fucking good.
midnight run, but ain't nobody has a midnight run table at Comic Con. That's what I'm saying.
You don't see me outside?
I just want to see Charles Grodin at a table citing DVDs of Midnight Run. It's like,
There's nobody going on. I'm totally a runny.
Yeah.
Just
give
What's
me
the
give me a steel book of Midnight Run. I will buy that in 4K proudly.
I got the Shout Factory, so
It's a great
Boom.
movie.
the thing about Midnight
No,
Run.
it's
It's
not.
that movie that believes that all you have to do to knock a person unconscious is punch them.
Well,
That
like
movie
almost
is a
every
record
movie.
for people getting punched and getting knocked out.
Yeah.
It
Or people
happens
getting
in
hit.
every fucking scene in that movie.
The tradition of movies, people, you get hit on the head, you're knocked out. He'll be fine. Are you sure? You just hit that guy with a wrench. I don't think he's going to be okay. Anyway, this one. Oh, here we go. What ship's engines were overloaded to destroy Installation 04 in the first Halo game?
I'm not a video game guy.
Uh,
Fuck.
I have, so I just bought the Master Chief Collection on Steam. I haven't even started playing it, so I have no idea.
That's something that Rio Ass would probably do better than I do because he.
Yeah, everyone else was here.
Why don't you ask some Pong questions? That's more my style.
Pong.
Is the answer Charles
Yeah, really.
Grodin?
It's like, I'm a huge Pongo.
Get some Sonic the Hedgehog trivia and I'll yeah.
There you go. That's Guardians of the Galaxy, right? That's
All right,
Moana, right?
what
Is
was the
this
question
the
again, Chris?
unused concept art for V'ger?
What was the question again, Chris? Because Mike's actually in the living room. He wants to know what.
That's
what
fine. Which ship's engines were overloaded to destroy Installation 04 in the first Halo?
What ship's engines were
Overloaded.
fully loaded,
Overloaded.
to destroy what the fuck was it called?
Installation 4
Installation 4.
in the first Halo.
The first Halo.
I can't believe this is happening right now.
Oh, I didn't know lifelines were allowed. Damn.
Yeah, I don't know.
Can I call somebody?
Would you like to phone a friend?
Installation 04, Mike.
I'm gonna go message Mike.
Thank you, Frank.
I'm gonna message Mike's roommate. The other
Apparently-
Mike.
Apparently, it's the end of the game. I haven't played Halo in so long, but I know Halo's got super big fans, so I thought maybe it'd be one of you guys. Guess not. The Pillar of Autumn. It's the big climactic ending of the game, apparently. I don't know.
Yeah, Mike said it right. It was
Name for ship.
Yeah, I thought he was like the specific engines on the Pillar of Autumn ship. I was like, I know the Pillar of Autumn is the name. I just don't know the specific name of the engines.
There we go. Disney Princess. Yeah, throw some Disney Princess questions.
We'll nail some of those.
I go dibs on the easy project as a lifeline if I need to.
I mean, Jesus, does somebody really geek out about it? Like, we haven't really touched on a whole lot. Like,
Planet of the Apes questions.
I'm amazed I got the fucking Star Trek watching. I'm so not as big of a Star Trek guy.
So we're gonna let the audience see if they can answer this last one because obviously y'all aren't geeky enough for this level of geekiness.
Really not.
Oh, okay.
You're gonna thank me when you see it. Trust me. Okay.
All right.
You trust me.
All right. Listen. Yeah.
What did the Black Lotus card do in Magic: The Gathering? See,
Is that the one that Bruce
Did it
Wayne was
undo
supposed
your
to climb up the
virginity?
mountain to get?
Oh fuck!
Is that the card that got you laid in real life?
I haven't played that in so long. I don't remember.
I like it.
it's the most famously removed from the game card. Like people who find this card are like, shit, that's worth like 10 grand. You know, so people still talk about it a lot.
Never fucking played Magic.
It is not gave mana of any color. It is not bring people back to life. Boy, Dennis is like, I've never actually played the game, but sure.
When are the Planet of the Apes questions coming?
I'll take
It's
that.
hard to
No, just so
allow you to move out of your parents.
How about some Back to the Future questions? Here?
we wouldn't torture you with any Planet of the Apes questions, Nathan. That's that's Bradley,
Dr. Zayas,
who's wrong about hating Planet of the Apes. Anyway, the answer is it could be played at no cost and grants 3 mana. It sounds like not a big deal, but it was a pretty big deal. So there you go. Anyway,
plus 5/6 stamina.
I'll take your word for it.
$10,000. I was expecting a lot more bang for my buck.
Yeah. Five, 6.
it's just like baseball cards, man. That's all. It's like it's a
Yeah.
collectible thing for a game that's popular. People are like it's not. You can't even play it in tournaments. Like if you tried to play that in our game, people would go, first off, you're fucking stupid for having that in your deck because even the slightest little crease or bend is going to drop a couple $100 off the cost of it. And 2, no, there's a reason they removed that from play.
So it's like a $2 bill, but more pricey.
$2 bills aren't worth that much.
That's what I'm saying, but more pricey. Like it's worth more.
I mean,
$2 bills also far more common.
It's the Babe Ruth. It's the Babe Ruth rookie card of like playable card, basically.
Okay.
When are our U.S. Mint questions?
It's the Action Comics #1.
Give me some Warhammer questions. Come on.
I wouldn't even know. I don't know anything about Warhammer. I know Cargill likes it a lot. He plays it.
Nice.
And because he's the only person I know who is wealthy enough to afford to be able to play Warhammer. That game is insane.
It
You're
really is.
You're like, you can't play unless you have like 20 grand to start with on that fucking game. I swear to God. They're like all like, oh, you can play, but you need at least 5 fucking miniature robots that are this big. I'm like, what?
I had friends who had figurines. So that's how I was able to play.
I don't understand. The last time I was at Cargill's house, he has this garage that's nothing but a Warhammer table that he's been constructing for years.
Oh,
and
that's amazing.
it's got to be at least 10, 15 grand worth of shit on there, man. Because I would go and buy that stuff, and those figures are like 100, 150 bucks per just even little tiny thing. It's insanely expensive. And then he would I'm like, they don't even come painted? You paid that much and they're not even fucking painted? What the fuck is this shit? What kind of scam are you running over here, game companies? At least paint your own shit, like lazy ass old charge. This one's $5,000. Fuck it, they'll eat this one up. Is it painted?
Here's a prototype. You fuck.
It was the original season pass. That's what it was.
I don't get it. I really don't.
That's why I don't game too much anymore. It's because back in my day when you actually bought a game, you got the whole game. Yeah. But now it's like, oh, you want this new outfit or these extra missions? You have to give us an additional $40. It's like EA especially, who are just the biggest assholes about that crap. It's maddening.
I don't know. The whole point of playing video games at home. That's why, like, Atari and ColecoVision and that's why they were game changers, literally, because they're like, oh, I don't have to go into arcade and just keep pumping quarters into this fucking machine all day. And I'll never get to beat it because I can't literally stand in this arcade for 24 hours. So like, oh, I can buy this and take it home and play it when I want, and I only have to pay for it once. And this is basically the gaming industry has figured out how to keep you pushing quarters into a slot.
Yeah, no, totally.
That's a good way to put it.
Right.
Now, I love the games that are like, there's a few companies that put out games that firmly say there is no in-game purchases. Yeah. And when a game they do that, they're always like, there's not in-game purchases. End of story. This is the game. This is what you get. Good. That's how it should be. I don't mind if like a year later or something, they have like a huge add-on that is basically like a mini sequel. You're like, okay, well, that's fucking $15. That's not bad. And if I like the game that much a year after I initially got it, sure, I might think about playing this sort of mini sequel add-on that's not essential to playing the game. But these things where it's like, oh, you want that gun is the only way you can even get past this level. You better give us $3. Fuck you.
Yeah, like that's how I feel about Spider-Man, because that's one of that's top 5 favorite games of all time.
Great
easily.
game.
I think that game is just plus after one more day and how that just broke my heart. And I would choke. What was his name? Joe Quesada or whatever at Marvel for
Quesada.
Quesada, thank you. I was like, well, I don't know, whatever. Like he's an asshole. That's all I remember. It's reading that comic and going, I hate Spider-Man, and that game making me go, oh, this is what happens when you do Spider-Man correctly and don't fuck it up. It's like that's a nice reminder, but I was okay paying for the season pass for that because it does flesh out the game, but. Like a Battlefield game where, like you said, Chris, oh, you want to get, have an advantage. Oh, you need this gun. Well, $8. It's like,
you got one gun. That was it. You got that light gun and you just shot ducks endlessly. There was never any end to it.
I don't even play the multiplayers at all because they're all like, oh, and if you spend $100 to buy the Steelbox version of this right when it pre-orders comes out, then you get this package of super shit that will help you kick everybody else's ass. I'm like, I'm not going to spend $100 on your fucking game just so I can have a cheat right from the beginning. And the whole idea of playing a game is not playing versus other people who have the dice loaded on you. Would you play poker with somebody who gets a special bonus of getting to see one of your cards at any given time? No, that's stupid. Yeah. Why do people? I don't understand why anybody even buys those games when they do that. I'm like,
because people lack impulse control, and it's easy to get money from those people.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. All right. Well, we should probably wrap things up since we're at an hour and 23 minutes and a half. Thank you guys for coming and joining us, and thanks to Jordan as well. She was having constant internet trouble, so I think she finally just pieced out. But it was fun having all y'all here, shooting the shit about whatever. I think we can safely say, if we've learned anything here today, it's that Tron is fetch. It's never going to happen.